Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Sim Racers Asia Series, coming to you live tonight from Summit Point Raceway for round 5, and your commentary team tonight is myself, Bernie Weemers, and I'm joined in the combox by Scott Newton. So welcome Scott, another great night for sim racing.
Yeah, hey Bernie, hey viewers. Yeah, definitely looking forward to this round at Summit Point for the Sim Racers Asia GT Series. We got 27 cars registered for this event, so it should be quite an eventful one on this Titan technical circuit.
Yeah, it certainly will be. One of the drivers out there once again tonight's Kai Sloggett. He was in the last GT3 race we broadcast probably an hour and a half ago, blew his motor, so he will be definitely looking at making up for that tonight in the SRA.
Yeah, definitely. Taking a look at the championship standings from the last event at Suzuka, Yasmin Yali has overtaken Kevin Wang to lead the championship on 330 points. Kevin Wang obviously in second place on 325, so tight margin there of 5 points. A little bit of a gap to Ahmad Nirazam in third place for Wale Base, Alex Pole in fourth, and then Federico Duarte Joaquim Teixeira rounding out the top 5 for the Calcium Racing team. Shane Reynolds had a great event to push him up into 6th place overall on 221 points. Manuel Sanchez in 7th place. Jung Chan Kim winning the last event boosted his tally up quite a lot as well, so he's tied for 7th on 214. Nathan Jagarthan on 204 points, and Samuel Chung rounds out the top 10 on 202 points.
Yeah, so it's looking pretty close up the top there between Kevin Huang and Yasmin Yali. We'll see what Kevin can do tonight. He was at the top for practice as far as times go. Looking at the team championships, folks, YLab Ace, they lead the way on 900 points. Macau Sim Racing team, they're second at the moment on 774 points. Delta Sim Sport in third on 710 points. Macau Sim Racing Development team, they're in fourth on 582 points. And YLab Awesome rounds out your top 5 on 528 points.
Yeah, YLab Ace definitely got a commanding lead at the moment, averaging over 200 points a race, so it's good to see them leading at the championship at the moment, to see whether they can hold on to their team championship lead. I've still got, 7 rounds to go, so yeah, Macau Sim Racing team will be definitely hot on their heels trying to close up, but yeah, we'll see how the championship unfolds tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as the weather goes tonight, folks, it's mostly cloudy out there, quite hot, 36 degrees Celsius or 97 degrees Fahrenheit. So they run realistic weather in this, so it may change through the day, but I doubt it'll change much because it's only a 45-minute race here. As you can see, we're in qualifying now, and they get 15 minutes to qualify, and we'll be going through that very shortly. But as far as tonight, Scott, we're in for a 45-minute race. Fast repair 1, incident 20%, that's our limit, 50% fuel, so we're expecting a fuel stop as this race progresses tonight.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see a pit stop tonight. I would think it would be around the 30-minute to 35-minute mark. Just looking at the official GT3s this week, obviously they have a bit more of a restrictive fuel tank, so in the official series they'd be pitting a little bit earlier, but yeah, with this format, I would say yeah, they'd be pitting around anywhere from about lap 15 all the way up until about lap 35. 40, so that's probably about the pit window.
Yeah, and we're expecting them to go between 42 to 43 laps tonight, folks, so we'll see how that progresses. At the moment, Sungwoo Han, he's on provisional pole with a 109.024. If we bring that up, Samuel Chung is second on a 109.125. Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira is in third with a 109.395. Fourth, Yongchan Kim with a 109.436, and rounding out your top 5 is Brian Renfors with a 109.624. So looking at those times, they're mighty close, as now Leonard Cuxey goes through with a 107.608 and automatically pushed straight down to 4th.
Yeah, definitely. With the times rolling in now, we've seen that Yasmin Yali's taken the provisional pole position on a 107.38. So with a faster second, sector 2, on a 26.4. So yeah, definitely the fast times rolling in now as we see that Nurazam's has pipped in by 100th of a second.
Yeah, it's crazy times and it's close, and that's what we like to see because it makes for good racing. And Yazrin Yali's on the screen at the moment. We'll see if he can improve. He's in the BMW, and it's great to see those out there. Now Kevin Huang, fastest in practice, straight up to provisional pole with the 107.194, and he's in. That's a Ferrari, isn't it? Because it doesn't have all the things blown out the back.
No, he's in the McLaren. So
it is a McLaren.
With the fact that drivers are not allowed to change cars during the season, they've had to elect to take their choice at the start of the season. So Kevin electing to take the McLaren, it's a fairly solid choice, but obviously can have a bit of a death wiggle from time to time. So wishing him all the best with that car, because I know that I'm one of those one of those drivers that can't tame that beast.
Yeah, it used to be my favourite when I raced in the SRA. That was back in 2014, but a lot has changed since then. We just saw Ahmed Nourazam. He's come through in the Ferrari and he's set second fastest time now. It's a 107.370, pushing Yazrin Jali down, and 2/3 in that BMW.
Yeah, it's good to see that there's a decent spread of different manufacturers in the top 5 or 10. I see that obviously the McLaren up the front, Ferrari second, BMW third, and then Mercedes 4, 5. So I'll have to see where the first Audi is. I think that might be in Pinot 6. So yeah, pretty much all the manufacturers represented within the top 6.
Yeah, definitely. Ben Wilkinson said, I've just probably set off all the Ferrari fans out there calling them a McLaren a Ferrari. But anyway, you get that, I guess. And we can see Brian Renfors in the 555 now. He's in the Mercedes, just coming out, 5th fastest. He's got a good 9 minutes to go. So it'll be interesting to see how these times tumble, if they do. If anyone's got anything more they can throw at this.
Yeah, we'll see that looking at the practice times, everyone's going marginally quicker in qualifying than they are in practice. So whether the draft is playing a little bit of a factor, or whether just the slightly lower fuel loads are a factor in this, I would say that, yeah, definitely low 107, possibly high 106 for pole position would be the target for the drivers. So we're pretty close to that, but we'll see whether they can achieve that.
Yeah, we can see Samuel Chung, I think it is. Can't really pronounce his surname there. 6th fastest in the Audi, driving from Macau Sim Racing Team. He's on another hot one. We'll see what he can do. His last time was a 107.533. The target for pole at the moment, a 107.194. So it'd be great to see an Audi up there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. With the balance of performance that has been put out, I think the Audi got a weight penalty added to it to negate some of the advantage that it had, as Samuel just runs a little bit wide, possibly got an off track there, so that would have invalidated the lap. So his time wouldn't have improved, but it looks as though he was just on an out lap, so this will be his hot lap.
And Kevin in the McLaren, he's just set a new fast time, and he parked it right on the edge of the track there on the exit, right on the fast line, but 106.900. So as you said, he's in the high 106s. The first one in there, Ahmed Nurizam, he's not in the car. Yazrin Yali, he is in the car, and he's putting another hot lap in that Alien needs BMW.
Yeah, Yazrin Yali, one of the top drivers in the league. Yeah, definitely a little bit down on pace, but yeah, with the top speed advantage of the McLaren, I'd definitely say that the BMW would have the advantage through this technical section of Sector 2 and 3. But yeah, it's definitely going to be very hard to pass that McLaren.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's the BMWs are great for braking, and we've just gone through the technical part of Summit Point. You could say that tight, twisty section, that's where it's going to be powerful, but I think it's going to lose out potentially down these big, long straights. So we'll see what he can do. He's just coming up now. He's quite slow. He's in the 1:08.932 that time through.
Yeah, it must have been a little bit of a mistake that we missed, but yeah, he's coming up to traffic now as he's managed to get past that number 55 car of Leonard Cuxey there. So P number 9 for Cuxey at the moment. He's on a he just set a personal best of a 107.559. So yeah, he's possibly got a little bit of room for improvement since he had I think a quicker practice time, but yeah, we'll see how he manages to do that as he got less than 6 minutes to go now.
Yeah, and Sungwoo Han, he's just done another flying lap. He did not improve. He's still fourth fastest with a 1:07.421 in that Mercedes. And I nearly called it a McLaren to see if anyone would pick it up, but I won't get that cheeky.
Just looking at Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira at the moment, he's currently on a lap at the moment, trying to draft one of his Macau Sim Racing teammates as car ahead dives into the pit lane. We'll see whether this is the time the lap manages to navigate the final corner. 1:07.799. So
yes, did not improve.
Yeah, it didn't improve. It was only a few hundredths off, so he's definitely getting close to his personal best. But yeah, just 200 separates the next 3 positions. So if he can find that just that little bit, that'll push him back up into the top 10.
And Kai Sloggett at the moment sitting there in 8th position in the Mercedes, and we'll see what he can do. His best time at the moment was a 1:07.561. And he's currently at 52 seconds on the circuit. So it's coming down now into the final corner here at Summit Point. Takes it fairly wide, not as wide as we've seen it. A nice exit there, but very slow time, a 1:10. So that's not going to improve him.
Definitely not. He must have been just trying to set up the lap, or he might have been on an out lap for the pit lane, just depending on where the start line is compared to different drivers' pit boxes.
Yeah. We'll see. It's interesting when we get down to 3 minutes to go. But I always wonder if anyone's got anything left to throw at qualifying. Generally, you'd think after 12 minutes down that most of them would have put in their fastest time by now.
Yeah, definitely. As the track rubbers up, there will be a little bit more grip out there, but generally you see with the track activity with the dying minutes of qualifying, it's generally hard to find a clean bit of track as Kai just runs a little bit wide on this the second to last corner and decides to park it up. So yeah, we'll see that. We'll have to see whether that time of 1:06.899 from Kevin Wong is able to be toppled, but Cap at the moment is just under half a second, so you'll see that Nurizam's not even in the pit, not even out on track, and same with the Ali as well, so it's looking as though that time of 1:06.899 is fairly unbeatable.
Yeah, I'd say they're probably switching to race setup now. doing a shakedown of all these cars before they take to the grid in just over 2 minutes' time. We can see Kevin there getting it all sorts of wrong. He's gathering it back up, putting it on track. But yeah, his last time was a 1:08, which makes me think he's possibly in race trim. I know that's what I used to do anyway. I'd put in the fast laps earlier in the qualifier and then go on to race setup and start trying to dial it in.
Yes, we have a different format with the open qualifying that we run here at Sim Races Asia. I know that in the official series you only get 2 laps and 8 minutes of qualifying. So yeah, with this open qualifying, yeah, you're able to swap out the qualifying set for the race setup with the amount of time that you choose before the race decides to kick off. So yeah, some drivers just trying to shake down their race sets just in the final stages of preparation.
Yeah, so what do you prefer? Do you prefer the limit of a couple of laps, or do you prefer the open qualifying?
I would say the open qualifying, just due to the fact that you can benefit from other people's draft if you're able to get the advantage of that. But in contrast as well, if you get someone that's blocking you when you're on a hot lap, it can really pay the price as well if you haven't been able to put in a fast lap. So there are pros and cons to both. But yeah, I'd prefer the open qualifying because obviously you get to see where everyone is on track.
Yeah, for the spectacle, from a viewer's perspective, I like the 2-lap dash, as long as it can be covered and, puts the drivers under, most pressure. But having the open qualifying, I think, just gives you that more time as a driver to get that car dialed in and ready for the race. We've got 28 seconds to go here, folks. And it doesn't look like anyone's going to catch Kevin Huang at the moment. Samuel Chiang is 6th fastest at the moment, and his time a 1:07.533, and he's in pit lane.
Yeah, just having a look at Kyle Slough quickly. He might be on a hot lap at the moment, but he didn't get a good exit out of the final corner, so it was actually a decent lap, but didn't improve on a 1:07.757. As we're coming to the end of qualifying, so those drivers that have started a lap are able to complete it.
Yeah,
we've got Sun Wuhan just going a little bit slowly, so I think he's aborted his lap. Kevin Wang coming around the final corner now. We suspect that he's on a race lap. Flip Choi on a 7.960 didn't improve. Yun Min Choi currently P number 13 at the moment around the final corner. We'll see whether he manages to improve on a 1:08.08, so he didn't improve his best time of 1:07.945. Ryan Lamb just about to cross the start finish line as well. See whether he manages to improve. No, he didn't on a 1:10.2. Kai crossing the start finish line now. 7/100 slower, so he didn't improve on a 1:07.636.
See Ryan Lamb there, 23rd. He's still out there pushing on, and he may improve if he's got enough time to complete his qualifying, and we'll see what he does. Kevin's still out there too.
Yeah, I think they won't have enough time just due to the fact that, he just pulls off now as there's 5 seconds left of the qualifying session.
Yeah, so that's your qualifying, folks. We're going to take you through the grid very shortly. 28 drivers will be taking to the grid, and it's going to be some awesome racing, that's for sure. So let's have a look at this grid, and you can see where your favourite driver will be starting. So Kevin Huang, he takes pole with a 1:06.900. Ahmed Nurizm, he'll start in second. His time a 1:07.370. Jazrin Jali will start out a third, and he's joined on the grid by Sungwoo Han in fourth. Third row tonight is Brian Renfors, and Samuel Chang will start out of sixth. Out of seventh, Yongchan Kim and Kai Sloggett out of eighth. Looking at ninth now, we've got Leonard Cuxey out and Philippe Choi out of 10th. Federico Duarte Joaquim da Roca out of 11th, and Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira out of 12th.
Yongmin Choi starts in pit number 13. Alongside him is Michelle Callow in 14th place. 15th is Modzafri Zanuddin, and alongside him is Simon Jorge Sanchez in pit number 16. Alex Pohl starts out at row number 9 on a time of 108.260. Alongside him is Lachlan Crowe, starting in pit number 18. Johnson Young is pit 19th on the grid. Alongside him is Adam Utri, 20th. Stanley Lee starts out at 21st. Rob J. Harris is 22nd. Ryan Lamb is 23rd. Hugo Silva Jr. starts 24th. And Jeffrey Anto, not the best qualifying for him, but he was the last driver to set a time in 25th. And drivers that didn't set a time, Paul Nelson starts 26th. Brian Chung and Justin Parkinson rounds out the field, the 28 car field.
Yeah, we can see they're going to have one lap under pace car here at Summit Point Raceway, and no doubt we'll see them just doing the final, I guess, what do you call it, the warm-up procedure of these cars, trying to get the brakes warmed up and something into the tyres, and we're going to go racing. 45 minutes, time certain here, folks. Expect one pit stop, fast repairs 1, incident limit 20, and apart from that, hang on to your seats because it's going to be fun.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see how the drivers take to the pit exit as well, with the double lane nature of the circuit, as well as people trying to make overtakes as well. So we'll have to see whether the drivers have to stay behind and allow the drivers to rejoin the circuit after pit stops, or whether we see incidents where, because obviously these cars are quite big, and sometimes it can be a little bit hard to see out with the blind spots, but yeah, it should be a fun and exciting race as they're just kind of navigating their way through the pace lap now.
Yeah, and I guess if you're coming down that start-finish straight, you'd probably stick to the right, wouldn't you, just in case someone does come straight out of the pits in front of you.
Yeah, well, you definitely want to be down the right-hand side for blocking the potential overtake of the car behind, but obviously you've got to watch out for cars exiting the pit lane as well, so obviously we'll see that around about 15 minutes in. That will be roughly when the pit window will open, until about 35 minutes in, when the pit lane will close.
Yeah, so we can just see them now on their pace lap here, folks, and it's going to be mighty interesting, that's for sure. We've got on the front row here a McLaren and a Ferrari. Second row we've got a BMW and a Mercedes, so the marks are pretty much, most of them are represented in the first two rows, but then the third row we have the Audi and a Mercedes, so that does cover them all off. As they come into the final corner here, Scott, I'll let you call the start of this race, mate.
Yep, no worries. Yeah, Kevin Wong's decided to bolt already, so he will take the green flag, and it looks as though that everyone's managed to get a clean start. They're going too wide right through the field. Looks as though everyone's got a clean start. Heading into turn 1, see whether anyone goes deep under brakes. See that who's that? Sung Woo Han trying to go up the inside of Ahmad Nirazam and going alongside him all the way up into turn 3. Looking further back, looks as though they're going too wide up into turn number 3. Got to watch out for the off track on the exit here. You throw up a bit of dust as well, but looks as though that everyone's got a fairly clean start. I haven't seen any contacts anyway.
No, it's been a really clean start, hasn't it? And into the technical part of the circuit here, I was expecting contact at the first hairpin, but all the drivers knew about that, and they've all got through. The only car that did not start was Justin Parkinson. Did not take to the start of this race, and he's out of the car, so he must have run into some sort of problem just before race start. But at the moment, Kevin Huang in the McLaren, he's absolutely bolted, and he's got a gap of 0.5 of a second over the Ferrari. And then third at the moment is Sungwoo Han in the Mercedes. Kai Sloggett, he's up to fourth already. And then we've got Yazrin Yali in the BMW, being pestered at the moment by Samuel Chang.
Yeah, I see that Michelle Callo's just made a little bit of a mistake on the exit of turn number 1, just got a little bit of exit oversteer and just fallen back to P number 19. But I also see that they're having a bit of a connectivity issue, so we'll see whether she's able to get back up and running, but she's managed to do so. Sits P number 18 at the moment, so a loss of 7 positions from where she started on the previous lap.
Yeah, we just lost Kai Sloggett as well. I'm trying to go back to find him in the telemetry here, but I can't find him. But he went wide at that part of the circuit you were talking about, and then snaps right into the tree line. But I can't find him on my telemetry.
Yeah, it looks as though that he's... I'll have a look to see if in the replay whether he's actually had a spin, because he's disconnected from the server.
Yeah, he definitely had a spin. We saw him in front from the
Oh, okay, yeah, he's just lost it out of turn number 3, and obviously some of these walls are unprotected, and yeah, he's just being kicked back into the pit lane. So yeah, it's an unfortunate mistake there from Kai so early in the race, but yeah, that's put him unfortunately out of the race, and yeah, he'll probably take no further part in P number 27.
Yeah, that's such a shame, because he was up at fourth at that position and pushing on, and we're actually riding on the bumper cam with one of the drivers. That was the Audi, and we just saw him lose it there. But at the moment, Kevin Huang, he's stretching that gap over Ahmed Nourazam. 1.8 seconds is that gap, as we see the first of the stoppers coming out now, and Kevin flashing his lights, telling him he's coming through. Well, actually, that was Ahmed flashing his lights.
Yeah, see that Kevin's had fastest sector 2 last time around, so he's definitely on it. Gap of 2.2 seconds at the moment to Nourazam. Gap's fairly spread out at the moment. Biggest gap I see at the moment is between 7th and 8th, Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira and Simon Jorge Sanchez.
Tell you what, Yazrin Yali's pushing forward. He's up to fourth now, and he's all over the back of Sungwoo Han here. And those Mercedes, they're having a lot of trouble getting that turn in. A lot of them are taking to the sand on the exit, and they're going to have to watch that, because they've only got 20 incident points. If they do that every single lap, they're going to be out by about lap 21.
Yes. Definitely something that the Mercedes struggles with, just being the front engine nature of the car. A lot of front end understeer, but definitely has the horsepower down the straight, as Yazrin Yali's trying to close up on Sungwoo Han. Last time around, Yali was about 10th and a half quicker than Sungwoo last time around, so as Han runs wide, that'll allow Yali to close up, but as they go into turn 4, yeah, Han closes the door, and Yali's definitely going to have to try and find a long way around to get past and up into the podium position.
Yeah, you can see Michelle Callow up ahead. As you were saying earlier on, she's run into a bit of trouble. She's one lap down now, and the guys here are just going to have some patience. She'll do her best to get out of the way, but this is not the place to try to pass.
Yeah, in the Titan technical section, it's generally only one line that you can really follow, otherwise you'll be costing both drivers loads of time. So as Callow comes around the final corner now to start lap number 5. Bit of a battle pack at the moment as one of the Audis runs wide. Who is that? Did catch that unfortunately, but yeah, with Callow 1 lap down, the drivers around her will be looking to get past as early as possible to minimise the time held up in traffic.
Yongchan Kim just made a move there on Jazrin Jali. Jazrin tried to do the undercut, he didn't make it, and then Yongchan Kim there just let him know he wanted that corner and he had to back out of it. So Yongchan Kim up to 4th, Jazrin Jali down to 5th position.
Yeah, it was a great move there from Yongchan. Last round's winner. Definitely trying to make up for the poor qualifying that he had started P number 7. So he's definitely pushing on the hard yards, trying to close up to Sung Woo Han. He's about 1/8 of a second gap at the moment. Pretty much matching in sector 2. We'll see whether he closes up in the final sector. But they look fairly even Stevens at the moment. He gained about 2 tenths in this final sector, so he's definitely closing up in that the Audi over the Mercedes.
Definitely is. He's got his race face on, that's for sure. But your top 10 at the moment, folks. Kevin Huang, he's bolted. 3.162 is the gap, and then 3.2 seconds back from him. Ahmed Nurazim second. Third, Sung Woo Han, 3.2 seconds down from Ahmed in second. Then we've got Young Chan Kim and Yazrin Yali. You've got them on screen at the moment, battling it out. Then Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira in 6th. 7th, Samuel Chang. Simon George Sanchez in 8th. 9th, Mo Zafri Zanuddin. And then rounding out your top 10 is Lachlan Crowe.
I was to say that Alex Pole just makes a little bit of a mistake heading up into turn 5. Just went too deep under brakes and luckily didn't hit his teammate. But yeah, an unfortunate mistake there from Pole has cost him 1 position, and Johnson Yong benefited from that up into P number 11.
Yeah, just having a look at that on the replay here, and of course Alex Pole drives for Delta Sim Sport here in the Audi, and he's one of the Australian-New Zealand club drivers. Whoa, yeah, you're right. He nearly did clean up that Audi, didn't he?
Yeah, it's obviously good to see Alex Pole still in the series. I competed with him back when I was in the series. It was back in 2015. So it's always good to see him. A lot of familiar faces still here. So obviously a great community within the Sim Racers Asia group. And yeah, if you're looking to get involved, just head over to the iRacing forums in the private league and host section. Sign-ups are always open. So yeah, get involved if you're into the GT3s.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great series to run and a very competitive series. So I highly recommend it. I was around the same time as you, 2014-15 probably. I was running in this series as well. Going through, I'm just trying to find some battles through here at the moment, and they're starting to spread out a bit. We've got Lachlan Crowe. No, he's got a bit of a gap, but Johnson Yong here, he's carrying a bit of damage, and he's from the Asian club, up 8 positions, sitting in 11th at the moment.
Yeah, it's a great performance there from Johnson. As you say, up 8 positions. Also see that Lachlan is also up 8, but the biggest mover of the field at the moment is Indra Farianto, up 11 positions. Just as I say that, Stanley Lee has overtaken him, but I think Indra is trying to fight back and manages to do so. So Indra is back up into 14th, Philippe Choi is up in 15th, and then Stanley Lee is falls back down to 16th.
Yeah, well, Stanley tried to make that move, didn't he, on Indra, and the elbows came out. They traded paint, and looks like Stanley Lee came off the worst there. He dropped a position as Philip Choi took advantage and moved that Macau Sim Racing team Audi up into 15th position. Yeah,
it's a good move there to capitalise on that from Felipe, as he's trying to put all sorts of pressure on Andrew Ferriento as they come around the final corner now. He'll be getting the benefit from the draft as he gets a fairly decent exit out of the final corner. Just having a look at the speeds now. They look fairly equal. I think that Andrew is running just that by a little bit less downforce. I think they had about 5 kilometres an hour difference. So I would have expected to see Felipe close up a little bit, but unfortunately didn't manage to do so.
Yeah, he just started to close up as they got to the hairpin. He's dropping back a little bit now as they come down. Heavy braking here, folks, into the technical section. And we'll see how they go through here as we're riding on the bumper cam with Philip Choi here. And you can just see how much these cars just handle through this. A lot of downforce, and they must be a joy to drive.
Yeah, unfortunately I haven't tested the Audi for quite some time, but just looking up the front, we'll see that Jung Chen Kim has taken over the third position from Sung Woo Han. It was a move that was made up in turn number 1. If you can get that on the replay, I think that Sung Woo Han just had pretty much no defense really with the amount of traction that Jung Chen Kim had out of turn number 1. So Kim up into third place, gap at the moment to Nurazem's 4.7 seconds. So he'll be looking to close that down. Still got well over 2/3 of the race still to go.
Yeah, just having a look at that replay there. Nice clean pass, wasn't it? And the Audi moves up. I know the Mercedes gave him a run as they went too wide there, but he conceded that position. And right behind them is Yazrin Yali in the BMW. So the BMW is still circulating nice and quickly.
Yeah, I think with the obviously downforce that the BM has, I think that it's just trying to stay with him in the draft. But yeah, if that BMW makes a mistake and falls out of that draft, yeah, I think he's going to be a little bit out of it and quite a bit slower.
Yeah, we can see it's bouncing up and down, folks. Don't worry, the driver can't see that. That's just an iRacing glitch. And I think what's happening is if you look at the tyres there, they are going into the road and it's just trying to correct it. And we have the same problem with the V8 supercars at the moment as well. But having a look at the moment, folks, Kevin Huang, he's leading 3.860 seconds ahead of Ahmed Nurazem. Ahmed has got a gap now of, it looks like about 3.9 seconds back to this battle pack of Yongchan Kim and Sung Woo Han, and then Yazrin Yali. That's probably the closest battle we've got at the moment. Although saying that, Alex Pohl is battling with Johnson Yong here, as they're trying to round up a Michelle Callow as well. Michelle's stuck in the middle here, and we'll see how Johnson goes to get past her.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, this battle pack 4, we've got 2 Audis and 2 Mercedes. So yeah, it's going to be pretty evenly matched. As I think that's Michelle getting under pressure from Johnson there, but manages to hold it around the outside. Just trying to make a way back up the field as I think she is technically 1 lap down from the leader. So
there goes Johnson. Oh, straight into the wall, over the top. We'll give him a score of 10 for that dive, and we'll try and get back to that replay because he exited stage left. And of course, these banks, folks, just pretty much jumps you straight off the track and into a big void. You end up pretty much back in the pits.
Yeah, that's the same thing that happened to Kai. Same corner, but ended up on the other side of the track. So, yeah, an unfortunate mistake there from Johnson. He'll have to take his tow, and then he'll take a fast repair, and he'll be able to get home for fuel on here. So, yeah, it's just unfortunate that he'll probably fall a lap or 2 down just due to the tow.
Yeah, and we saw there, he just got the wheel into the sand there and unsettled it and pretty much exited stage right. You can just see him through the trees there doing the Dukes of Hazzard impersonation.
Just looking at the battle between Rob Harris and Hugo Silva Jr., battle for P number 15 and 16. Gap at the moment is just over 0.3 of a second. Audi versus Ferrari. We'll see how this one will play out. Deep under brakes, Rob goes for Velocity Sim Racing. As they come around turn number 1 now, up into turn 2, gap is closing to about 0.3. It did fan out to, was they run wide, manages to keep it together through turn number 5 they go. Silva Jr. taking a lot of that entry curve, but yeah, Harris keeping in the draft as they go through the technical section now. Through turn 7 and 8, through 9. Just running onto that outside curb there. Yeah, gap is closing now. It's under 0.2 of a second now, so we'll have to see whether there's some move going on here.
Yeah, I was expecting him to have a move down there at the end of the straight, but he's not quite close enough. He's definitely got the blowtorch turned up on that Ferrari, though. Have a look as they come through this part of the circuit. A lot of them are using the sand on the outside, and they're really pushing it, especially that Ferrari. And I'll tell you what, 27 laps to go. What happened to Ferrari there? He just backed right out of it.
Yeah, I just seen that, yeah, Silva Jr. made a small mistake, and that allowed Harris to get through there, so great opportunity for Harris to take full advantage of that. Silva Jr. falls 2 positions back to P number 17.
Yeah, Brian Chang jumped on that, didn't he, in the 99 Mercedes, and he moves up a position. And now you can see them stretching their legs. The next one behind Hugo Silva Jr. is Yun Min Choi, and he's in the Ferrari. That is a Ferrari, isn't it? Yeah, it's not a McLaren. It doesn't have afterburners on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a Ferrari, so yeah, sitting P number 18 at the moment. Unfortunately down 5 positions from his starting slot. But yeah, we'll see whether he's able to close up on the battle. Back up ahead, he was about 2.4 seconds quicker the last time around, so should be no time before he's up into this battle pack.
Yeah, so that's Adam Utri putting the pressure on the Ferrari. Adam's actually down in 23rd, 1 lap down. But as you can tell, he's wanting to get that car up to the pointy end, but 26 minutes to go. He's got a lot of work ahead of him.
Yeah, definitely to see whether he can unlap himself. But so Adam has not taken to the pit lane as of yet, so yeah, looks as though that he'll probably stay 1 lap down for the entirety of the rest of this race.
Yeah, and remember, folks, we do expect them to stop. They're running 50% fuel. We're at 25 minutes to go here from a 45-minute race, or about 20 minutes in. So I'd expect pit strategy to start happening very, very shortly here. And then we're going to see who is where, because that's when the pit crews start to earn their money.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Yun Min Choi, I think, took to the pit lane on lap number 6. So he might be out of sync at the moment, but he is the leader in terms of the drivers that have pitted. So yeah, it's just a bit of had a bit of contact in the middle of sector 2. So yeah, he's taken that opportunity for that fast repair, and he's currently leader of the drivers that have pitted.
Yeah, but what about the pit window, 50% fuel? Can he get home from lap 6, or is he going to have to bring that in again?
You would hope that would be the earliest that he would have been able to pit and then make it home, but it's pretty touch and go. He'll have to probably save a little bit of fuel, given that we've got probably 21 minutes or 24 minutes of racing there left to go.
As he just goes through there on Hugo Silva, he put the elbows out, two Ferraris traded paint there as Hugo Silva now goes right through the infield, and we've lost the Mercedes behind him. No, the Mercedes off camera has passed him. What's going on with this Ferrari? Off big time into the wall and out of the race. Have a look at that, Scott, and let me know what you think went on there.
Yeah, I just seen that bit of a defensive move into turn one. Was a bit of contact there. I think was it Yumin Choi going just that little bit too deep into turn one. Just a little misjudged the corner a little bit. Through turn three, went normally wide there. That I think that with Silver Junior just tried to take that wider line into turn four, but just misjudged it, caught the grass, and that was all she wrote, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely, and he went in pretty heavily there in that Ferrari, but at the moment the McLaren is leading, and that gap 6.65 seconds back to Ahmed Nurizm in second, and then down 13.7 seconds is Sungwoo Han, and he's being chased down by Youngchan Kim. Youngchan is looking very racy, up 3 positions, sitting in 4th, and then rounding out your top 5 is Yazrin Jali in the number 81 BMW.
Yeah, I'm just going to see whether there was a mistake from Youngchan Kim, because of the fact that he was ahead of Sungwoo Han. So I'll just have a quick look now to see whether he made a mistake, but it doesn't appear to, but he did have a 1 minute 10 lap, so it was a move on the inside. It was going too wide through, Sungwoo Han ran the outside of Youngchan Kim on lap number 16 at turn 3, so a great move there from Sungwoo Han to get back up into the podium position.
Yeah, and the BMW's now hunting down that Audi, and we'll see what Yazrin Jali can do here as they're coming back into turn 1. 22 minutes of racing to go here, folks, and we are on lap 20. We're expecting them to do 41 to 42 laps, maybe less at this point, but the BMW's trying to get that Audi, but it just doesn't quite have the legs at the moment.
Yeah, just with that aerodynamic drag that the BMW has, I think that's put it a little bit of a disadvantage compared to the Audi, so that's what's allowing the Audi to stay ahead. But obviously with the tight and twisty technical sector 2, the BMW will close right back up. But yeah, it's quite slow speed, averaging about between 80 and 120 k's through the middle section. And then obviously as they build up towards the end of the lap, they're doing about 160, 170 through the final sector. And then all the way up to about 250 on the start-finish line.
Yeah, and we're riding here with Yazrin Jali in the BMW. Just have a look at this Audi when it stretches its legs, as another Audi just comes out of the pits now taking service. I'm not sure who that was, but you can see the Audi when it stretches its legs, it gains about 1 car length, and then the BMW, phenomenal under brakes, just closes that back up again.
Yeah, the driver that was out of the pit lane was Indra Ferriento, so he rejoins back in 17th place. With a pit lane time of 33.1, so it would have been about a 12-second stop, I would think.
Yeah, very close. 11.5 seconds was his stop there. So, yeah, you're pretty good on the old maths there.
Oh, that was just a random guess, to be fair, because all I have access to is pit lane time.
Okay, yeah. So, I'm the opposite. So between us, we should be able to paint a picture.
Yeah, that's it. But with the timing software that I have, there's been an update that I'm able to see through an overlay the actual pit stop time as well. So unfortunately, I'm not running XSplit as well to find what the pit stop time was.
Yeah. And folks, if you're watching and you can see our chat channel, go to the first post there, because Scott's put up the live telemetry, which you can tune into while this broadcasts live. So if you're into that, bring it up and you can see where your favourite driver's sitting on the track at the moment. The first of the stoppers, though, is Yong Min Choi. He's 61 seconds down from the lead in the 73, and his stop, 7 seconds. Ryan Lamb's also made a stop, 8.9 seconds in the Mercedes. Indra Ferrianto, 11.5 seconds. Paul Nelson, 8.8 seconds, and then Brian Chung, 19.5, but that was probably for a repair.
Yeah, it would have been a small repair, but obviously with the fast repair as well, that might not have been checked, so that's probably why it was a slightly longer stop, unless he's decided to take tyres and a splash of fuel, which obviously the fuel and tyres is separate compared to other series where they take them together.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine a 45-minute race would be any point really taking tyres.
Yeah, sometimes drivers forget. I've done many a time. So it can be a mistake that drivers make out there, but let's hope it wasn't for tyres, but it might have been damaged as well, so it's certainly unfortunate.
Yeah, 18 minutes to go here, folks. We'll see when these boys are going to come in for their stop. They're definitely running deep, and the longer they run, the less fuel they're going to need to get home, no doubt. It should all balance out, though, but sometimes it doesn't. As we can see, Kevin Huang now is just coming up into the final corner here. He does not bring the McLaren in. He goes back through it again. What about Ahmed Nourizm in the Ferrari? Is he going to come in?
No, he's not. So he's going to go around one more time as well. Last lap time for Kevin, 1 minute 8.21. We'll see what the lap time is for Nourizm. 1 minute 8.38. So about 2/10 slower than last time around. So that gap is still eking out. At the moment, still 8.5 seconds. So Kevin's definitely got a huge cushion over Nourizm at the moment, but anything can happen, especially with if traffic can play a factor. As I see that Kevin is about to come up to a bit of lap traffic.
Yeah, and Samuel Chang, he's the only one that did come in. He's back out now. 12.4 seconds was his stop as he rejoins the track. Yun Min Choi is just into, he's not even into the final corner there yet, so he won't play a factor at all in these stoppers up ahead of Samuel Chang. He was sitting in about 6th or 7th position when he brought that car in.
Yeah, so a good stop there. Well, relatively decent stop there from Samuel. P number 11 for McCaustin Racing Team. See what he's able to do. There's we got a Ferrari around. Who is that? Let's see if I can find who that was.
Have you got a number?
Yes, here you go. Silver Junior. So he's rejoined onto the track, but yeah, he's had a mistake. He's just waiting for the cars to go by and retake to the track.
There he is down in 22nd. He's pulling it back off again, so we'll jump back to the replay there, have a look and to see what unfolded for Hugo. He did go in the wall heavily, so oh yeah, he's just lost it. Oh, heavily. Oh, can't really see it. He don't know if he did. He nearly went off the server, you know.
Yeah, that's. Oh wow, that's I would say it's probably half a car width, and yeah, you'd be back to the pit lane. So yeah, very lucky escape there from Silver Junior. But yeah, it's caught a few more drivers than I would have expected out of that corner, turn number 3. So especially with the traction. Yeah, the traction control that these cars have. But yeah, it's as soon as you get a wheel on the dirt there, it could be all over. See that Yali's taking to the pit lane as well. So yeah, so P number 7, he should be, as he's leaving the box now, would have been about 11-second stop for him.
Yeah, and he's out quite easily in front of Samuel Chang that stopped before him, so the times are coming down. But it was interesting with Hugo Silva, he escaped near transportation or teleportation back to the pits, but then he parked it and used a tow anyway.
Yeah, it was probably just for safety reasons, I think, which is probably a good decision there from Hugo. As he didn't want to cause any other incidents. But I see Nurazam's in the pit lane as well from second place. So we'll see how he fares in comparison to Yali, as Samu Hang and Yungchan Kim and Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira have decided to continue on, as Nurazam's leaving the pit lane now. That was roughly about a 10-second stop.
Man, you're
and
good.
he rejoins in 6th place.
Yeah, the official time, 9.850 seconds.
Yeah, well, that's random guess in the pit delta, I think. I just got lucky, I think.
Okay, that's the second time you got lucky. Let's see if you get a third, and then I'm not going to think you're doing luck anymore. But what's Kevin Huang doing now? He's staying out. He's going pretty deep, isn't he, in that McLaren? And then the next one, Sungwoo Han, he's 15 seconds down now. So it's definitely Kevin Huang's race to lose here, as we can see them both coming in the pits. That's Sungwoo Han and Yungchan Kim. So there's going to be a race on pit road here to see if Yungchan Kim can actually take him here.
Yeah, we'll see. Also, that Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira and Simon Jorge Sanchez have taken to the pit lane as well. So Nurazam rejoins in 2nd place. Samu Han has left the pit lane in his original position in 3rd place, and looks like Zanudin is in 5th place, but he hasn't pitted yet. So doing well in the fray, but we'll have to bear in mind that he has to still stop again.
Yeah, and the gaps are so large up the front here, folks. The pit strategy or the pit stops aren't really changing positions. So we see Yazrin Jali there in 5th. Kevin Huang is in the pits now. He had a good 33 seconds up his sleeve over Armin Nurazam, 15 seconds up his sleeve from Sungwoo Han. Sungwoo's just coming through the technical section now, so it's equating to about half a lap as Kevin Huang comes out now. 10.2 seconds was his stop.
Yeah, it's pretty much leaned by a quarter of the lap. That's how big of a gap that Kevin Huang has over Nurazam. So yeah, it's pretty much his race to lose. We've still got just over 11 and a half minutes left of the race to go, as we see that Zanudin's in the pit lane. So he was the last car to pit.
Yeah, that's Zanudin, the number 25 in the Ferrari. See what sort of a time he does, and I'm going to get you to see if you can guess it. Can you go for a hat trick?
Once he leaves the pit lane, it will be a 11.2-ish.
9.2 seconds.
Oh, there you go.
You got the point too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was a bit of a guess. I took a stab at 20-second pit lane, just traversing through the pit lane, if it was a drive-through penalty. But then obviously you got to factor in the pit stop time as well. So yeah, that's something that's not factored in to my pit lane delta. So, but yeah, it was pretty close. Obviously, bigger tracks obviously have a longer pit lane, so we'll see how that will play into the further rounds in the championship.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to test you now to see how you go in the future rounds, that's for sure. But at the moment, Kevin Huang, it's been his race. He's led all 30 laps here tonight. We've got just under 10 minutes to go. I think he's the only McLaren out there as well.
Yeah, I'll just have to run through the field quickly. But yeah, Kevin's sticking with the McLaren all these seasons. He's full credit to him. He's managed to keep that McLaren right up the front there. But yeah, just having a look through the field, as Yung Chen Kim's having to dive into the pit lane again for some reason. I'll have to quickly rewind to see what happened there.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, the retirements tonight, folks, the number 10, Hugo Silva Jr., is the latest one to retire. Then we lost Adam Utri in the 289. Michelle Callow in the 46 has also retired. Johnson Young in the number 9 has parked that car, as has Leonard Cuxey in the 55. Kai Sloggett, he was the first to retire, and Justin Parkinson, he did not make the start.
Yeah, you'll never guess where Yung Chan Kim dropped the car.
I'd probably have to be that crazy corner that they're all running off at.
Yeah, it's Turn 3 has claimed another victim, unfortunately, and yeah, it was Yung Chan Kim that fell victim, so had a good chance for a solid podium position, but unfortunately dropped the car on the exit of turn number 3, and unfortunately that puts him pretty much out of the running.
Yeah, and I think I got the replay of that. We'll pick it up and have a look at that. But yeah, it's it doesn't take much, does it? As well, he's in the pits there, so that's not going to help me. Maybe I don't have it. It doesn't. It's not coming up as an off track. Would you believe?
Oh, okay. It must have just had a bit of a death wiggle on the tyre, and unfortunately, not able to correct it. Has played havoc for him, unfortunately. But looking at the battle for pin number 8 and 9 at the moment, Yun Min Choi and Modzafri Zanudin just coming around the final corner now, a gap at the moment, just over 7 tenths of a second. But I think Zanudin's made a small mistake, and that gap's opened up to just under 0.8. Last time around for Yun Min Choi was a 109.0 compared to Zanudin on a 109.2. So just over a tenth of a second gain for Yun Min Choi. So he's opening that gap up ever so slightly, but between 7th and 8th is 8.5 seconds. So not much to gain there for Yun Min Choi unless there's a bit of a technical glitch for the drivers ahead.
Yeah, and Zanudin's got to watch his mirrors as well, because Alex Pole for Delta Sim Sports is behind him. And I was watching Alex, even though he's nowhere near close enough, he's already started flashing his lights and trying to get into the head of Zanudin here.
Yeah, definitely would be playing a bit of a distraction, those flashing headlights. Obviously, that these GT drivers would be fairly used to it, I would think. But someone like me, as Zanudin makes a bit of a mistake on the final corner, and that allows Alex Pole to get the run on him and clear him even before turn number 1. So great move there from Pole up into P number 9.
He cut right across the nose too, so maybe there is something about this flashing light. Seemed to have worked for Alex Pole. Alex is on a flyer at the moment, up to 9th position, up 8 positions from where he started. He's now he's trying to get into Yun Min Choi just ahead of him, and that Audi's very hooked up at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. That last lap time that he did would have put him roughly within the top 5 in terms of pace. I see that Kevin last time around did a 108.1. So Sung Woo Han did a 108.4. A couple of other drivers in the mid to high 3s, low 4s. So yeah, Alex is definitely putting the hammer down at the moment, trying to close up.
Yeah, and we're riding with him on the gyro cam here, folks, as he comes through the final corner now, making that run on the Ferrari. You can see as far as top-end speed goes, the Ferrari is pretty much a match for the Audi, but have a look under the brakes here as the Audi closes right up onto the back of that Ferrari.
Yeah, get some perfect traction out of turn number 1 as well for the Audi of Alex Pole. But as I come up to turn number 3 now, fairly consistent line. As Alex runs just that little bit wide, may have picked up an off track there, but manages to hold on.
Yeah, and this is where he's good. When he gets into this technical section, look how much he closes up. And this is where this is what set him up for Zanuden, was through this part he got a great run and used all that momentum right down to the front straight.
Yeah, the gap at the moment's closing ever so slightly. It was about a half a tenth that he gained through that little 8, 9, 10 section. So around the final corner they go. We'll see what the lap times are this time around. So Yunmin Choi on a 108.91 and Alex Pole was a tenth quick on a 8.81. So yeah, Alex has definitely put the hammer down. As just looking a little bit further up the field, battle for pin number 5 and 6. Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira about 3/10 gap to teammate Samuel Chung, and I think there's a lap car behind. So that was the Audi of was that Jung Chang Kim. So he's back out on the circuit, but down in 17th place.
Yeah, he's trying to salvage some points here, but Alex Pole and Yunmin Choi, they continue. Yunmin Choi's holding on at the moment, and we'll just jump in between these two battles because Samuel Chang here is coming under pressure, but it's not for position. So we'll see what happens here. He doesn't really want to step aside because if he does, he's going to lose time to his teammate just ahead of him.
No, definitely not. We see that Yunmin Choi dived into the pit lane as well, so he did not have enough fuel from when he pitted. So yeah, unfortunate there for Yunmin Choi as he comes out on a roughly about a 7 to 7.5 second stop.
Yeah, that's no good at all, is it? And 2 minutes to go. We'll see if anyone else has to stop, but that's pretty much freed Alex Pole here. He's up to 8th. He's got quite a bit of a gap going. Looking further up, though, is Kevin Huang led it every single lap of this race. We're on lap 37. 2 minutes to go. Just over 2 minutes, but it's Kevin Huang. Then we've got Ahmed Nurizam in the Ferrari in second. Third, Sungwoo Han in the Mercedes. Jazrin Jali in the BMW. Then Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira is in the Mercedes. In fifth, Samuel Chang, the first of the Audis, I think, and he's sitting in 6th position.
Yeah, so definitely a good mix of manufacturers up there. As we think we're just under a minute and a half to go, so I would expect to see 2 more laps from Kevin before he crosses the line. Definitely not going to put the commentator's curse on him at the moment, but 15-second gap is definitely looking as though it's his race to lose.
Yeah, it's a 1 minute 15 to go, and just looking where he is on circuit at the moment. He's just coming through turn 3, I think. Yes, it is, down in the technical section. So you're right. He'll go through this lap, then he'll get the white flag. It's a heck of a performance, though, isn't it? Yeah,
definitely super consistent. Just looking at his lap times, early going was mid-7s. As he progressed through the race, it was getting slightly slower. I would say that there'll probably only a few instances where there would be more like a 4/10 of a second delta in his lap times. But yeah, it's been fairly consistent throughout the races. He's about to take the white flag.
Yeah, 20 seconds to go here, so he'll definitely get the white flag. If you're wondering, folks, why he didn't back off, well, he can't, because 15 seconds down the road is Ahmed Nurizam, and he had 19 seconds of the clock to count down. But 4 seconds to go, 3 seconds, 2, 1. We should get the white flag now, which we do, and Kevin Huang is on the way home. look at Samuel Chang here. He's all over his teammate Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira as they go down side by side into turn one here. The Audi should have the upper hand, and let's see what he does. Under brakes, deep under brakes he goes, but is Oliveira? Well, Oliveira is going to give him a tap, so that's what he's going to do. And I think we've lost Oliveira.
Yeah, it might have just been connection issues, but yeah, it's cutting back to the leader as Kevin is about to head around the final quarter now. And yeah, he will take, was it round number 5 of Sim Racers Asia GT Series here at Summit Point. So congratulations to Eurasia Sim Sport for taking the win, and Kevin for putting in a really solid performance. 17 seconds back, Ahmad Nirazam, he's about to come around the final corner now. See a lap car there, he'll not pose too much of an issue, but Nirazam comes home in second place. Sung Woo Han, great performance from him, up 1 position, getting the final spot on the podium. Yasmin Yali comes home in 4th place. Samuel Chong rounds out the top 5, so good performance from him, up 1 position. Simon Jorge Sanchez, Alex Poll and Lachlan Crowe will come home 6th, 7th and 8th, all up 10 positions each. So pretty much line of sun the whole way through the race. Zanudin will come home in 9th place as he runs the final corner now. Philippe Choi runs wide, or as he runs off the circuit there, and will come home still 10th place, but yeah, blown engine on the as he crosses the line. So yeah, a bit of a heart-stopping moment, but yeah, it rounds out the top 10. Yeah, does Philippe Choi for Macau Sim Racing.
I was going to say, if you're going to go off and blow a motor, that's probably the place to do it, as long as you continue. Now, a bit of an update on Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira. He was actually disqualified for going over the incident limit. So that started with his teammate there. And I tell you what saved Philip Choi was a billboard. That's the only thing that saved him. Otherwise, he would have disappeared. But yeah, he came together with Samuel Chang, and as Samuel Chang went through, he tapped him, and then the car behind him, that was a lap down, tapped Leonardo Lopez, and that pushed him over the 20 incident limit and disqualified on the last lap. But it's all Kevin Huang tonight, and we can see, I think he's out of fuel. Is he out of fuel? No, he's not. Don't tell me he's going to try and do a donut. You know?
I think he is. We'll see. But
no, that's not going to work.
there he goes. He's got it pretty much. But he did about 270 degrees. But
there he goes. Yeah, almost. That's probably a good effort considering.
Yeah, and with traction control as well, kicking in as well. Probably, so it's not necessarily one for doing donuts, I think. But yeah, to run through your final standings for round number 5 of Sim Racers Asia GT Series here at Summit Point. Kevin Wong takes the win, 17 seconds in front of Ahmad Nirazam. Sung Woo Han finishes 3rd. Yasmin Yali beat him before. Samuel Chung rounds out the top 5. Simon Jorge Sanchez finishes in 6th place. Alex Poll, good performance from him, finishes 7th. Lachlan Crowe finishes 8th. Mod Zafri Zanudin finishes 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Philippe Choi. Leonardo Lopez de Oliveira, I think, finishes 11th place on my timing. Brian Renfers finishes 12th. Yunmin Choi finishes 13th. Paul Nelson, great performance from him, finishes 14th, up 12 positions. Rob Harris rounds at the top 15, up 7 positions.
Yeah, then 16th, Yongchan Kim, and down 9 from where he started. Indra Ferianto comes home 8 positions up in 17th. Brian Chung home in 18th, 19th, Ryan Lamb, 20th, Federico Duarte Joachim, that one, 21st, Stanley Lee, 22nd, Hugo Silva Jr., we're into our retirements here, folks, 23rd, Adam Utri, Michelle Callow, classified 24th, And you can, where are we at? 25th, Johnson Young, then Leonard Cuxey in 26th. 27th, Kai Sloggett and Justin Parkinson did not start the race. But the biggest mover tonight, I think that was Paul A. Nelson.
Yeah, so great performance from Paul. One of the regulars in the series, so good to see him on the track. And put in a good performance from him. I know that he was in, I think, the Audi tonight, so bit of a staple from him. A bit like Kevin, continuing on with the McLaren. So, yeah, it's good to see Paul out there. Solid performance. Unfortunately, didn't put a qualifying time in, but, yeah, definitely had a good result tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And fastest lap tonight goes to Kevin Huang with a 107.173. As far as laps completed, 40 laps. We were thinking about 41, 42, so pretty close there. And pretty much Kevin led every single lap of this race, so we might bring him up. Do you have time to have a very quick interview? I know you've got other commitments, Scott.
Yeah, I'm just actually trying to get up the schedule as well. I think I will have time for one interview, I think.
Okay, and we'll bring Kevin up for a very quick interview, folks, and then Scott's going to have to bail. What have you got lined up? You're going to campaign again, aren't you, tonight?
Yeah, I've got World Championship spotting for Apex Racing UK, so yeah, the qualifying starts in about 17 minutes, so yeah, I will have time for one interview.
Okay.
Which is yeah, not a problem.
Is that Formula One?
Yeah, it's the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. So yeah, the F1's around Montreal, so 70 laps around that. A bit of a daunting task for all of the drivers out there, but yeah, it's going to be a good event.
Yeah, I was going to say no pressure on you or anything, but I guess that's for Alex Simpson, is it?
Possibly Alex or Peter Berryman or one of the other Apex drivers. So.
Fantastic. Well, we better get on with this interview very quickly so you can go and get ready for that. But Kevin Huang, welcome to the RRTV Combox, mate. Congratulations. You threw the gauntlet down in qualifying as well as in the race. Got the fastest lap and you've led every lap. Did anything go wrong with you tonight?
Yeah, I touched the grass once. The last 5 minutes of the race, I was just concentrating, trying to get 0 incidents, and then I got bored, so I tried to put in a fast lap, see how fast I can go on the last few laps, and I touched the grass. It was so stupid. It was pointless. I just off at myself. But yeah, other than that, the race was perfect. The car was so beautiful to drive. The McLaren here is amazing. I don't know if it's the car or but it's just beautiful to drive. Every lap was just super, super easy and relaxed.
Fantastic. And last question, one of the viewers said that McLaren must have been running on the smell of an oily rag. How much or how close were you to running out of fuel as that race progressed?
No, not too bad. I had another 1.5, 1.6 liters of fuel at the finish line. I was lifting and coasting a little bit at the end just to be safe, to get to my the end of I think I was the last one to pit probably because I did a little bit of lift and coast at the end because I had a big enough gap, so I didn't want to pit and then be behind anyone. So I just want to make sure I was led every lap because why not, right?
I'm going to hand you over to Scott now and see if he's got any more questions for you, mate.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, good result, Kevin. Congratulations on the win. Definitely great to see that McLaren out there. I know that's one of your staples of this series, sticking with the McLaren, so congratulations on that.
Thanks.
Yeah, was it fairly difficult for yourself out there with the track conditions, or was it fairly straightforward?
Nah, the car was great. Its balance was perfect. It's really easy. It was, I just had to, at the end of the race, it was a little bit difficult to concentrate. There was just nothing. I just had to keep on. It felt like I was like a robot, It's just like almost like a hypnotized, just next corner, next corner, next corner. And you kind of just stop. Your brain kind of turns off sometimes. So I had to keep on trying to push myself to concentrate. But I knew that McLaren should be faster because I know people know the McLaren has low downforce, less downforce than the other cars. So this track doesn't really require any that much downforce. There's no high speed or mid-speed corners, or not that much. So I knew I had to take advantage of the McLaren's advantage here and try to get the win. So I'm really happy to do it for the McLaren team. I think it's been a long time since the McLaren won this series, so it's really happy.
Yeah, with that win today, that'll push you right up into the lead of the championship. I think that Yasmin overtook you at the last round at Suzuka, so you definitely put the hammer down in terms of the championship. But on the subject of low downforce, we head to Monza next week. So what do you think your chances of taking the win there?
Pretty decent, I guess. I should finish pretty well. I don't know. The McLaren usually does well there, so but I don't know. They changed the bop and everything, so I don't know. I'm looking for at least a podium there. So hopefully I can build a tiny lead in the championship and get to the end in a pretty good position. Feels good. Feels really good now.
Yeah, definitely. No, we're wishing you all the best for the week ahead, and we'll be looking to see you for the next round, round number 6 at Monza, starting at was it 12 GMT?
Yes.
So
Saturday.
8 p.m. West Australian time, and I think some Asia regions it's 8 p.m. or 9 p.m.
Yes.
Local time for you guys, and then obviously it's 10 p.m. Australian Eastern time. So definitely look to tune in for that. But thanks very much for jumping into the podcast with Kevin, and we wish you all the best for the next week.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Brendan.
See you, mate. Have you got any people you want to thank before we let you go?
Just the regular, usual Bruno and Wayhan. And Wayhan's probably enjoying his time. He's still. Is he going to be back next week?
I don't know. Last time I heard, he was sipping some drink somewhere and saying he didn't want to come back to reality. So who knows where he is?
I don't blame him. So thank him, and also Lacan Pro and Alex both for doing the stewarding. It's a thankless job, so I want to thank them so they get some credit for that. But yeah, looking forward to watching the race. I hope it was interesting race.
Yeah, I think it was definitely interesting. I think you'll enjoy it. But anyway, Kevin, thanks for coming up. We'll let you go, and we better wrap this up because Scott's got other commitments to get to.
Okay, see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.
Yep, see you, mate.
All the best.
So, Scott, that pretty much brings us to the end of the night. But final thoughts on what we saw here tonight?
Yeah, it was definitely a fairly interesting race. We definitely saw that Kevin, with the low downforce in that McLaren, definitely checked out. Obviously, finishing 17 seconds ahead of the next rival. So, looking to the next week, Monza, one of those tracks where the McLaren's going to definitely benefit again. But the likes of the Audi and the Mercedes and the Ferrari, and possibly even a very stripped out BMW, will be hot on the tail of that McLaren. So yeah, definitely looking forward to next week for Monza. I think race kicks off at 12 GMT.
Yeah, and that'll be around about, we'll be on air from around about 10 p.m. GMT plus 11. But anyway, folks, thanks for joining us once again. Scott, thanks for commentating with me tonight. It was always a pleasure. Best of luck with your spotting, which you'll be doing very, very shortly. And so on behalf of Scott Newton, I'm Bernie Weemers. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll catch you again very, very soon on RRTV. But until then, have a great weekend and good night.